Hi lovelies, welcome to the doghouse with me, Ria Bow. Is all I want for Christmas is an EMP, an EMP, an EMP, and I didn't get one. And this is Mike Phillip from American Hook Radio in Canada's own, and also KJJRadio.com. How are you doing, Mike?
Doing good. Don't forget also the Tactical Health Podcast with Dr. Peter Glidden and my own show syndicated on GCN, American Hook Radio. And I don't come from the land down under. I come from the land up over. That was a great song. Hey, Land Down Under, Men of Work. You remember that, Ria?
You sod. Okay, yeah, no, it was a great song, right? Okay, we just got to live and learn on this one, guys. Bit going on behind the scenes and all that kind of thing. But I still didn't get my EMP, my pocket EMP. I've heard from good authority that it's got scientists working on it. Say hello to Gary Kemper. That's a lovely Merry Christmas, right? Night and
Cringe.
day. Always lovely to have you around night and day. Who else have we got? We've got Justin. Hey, Jack. I saw your video of Trudeau, the latest one you did, right? How did he get elected? I mean, what is going on there? He's no silver-tongued devil, is he? Dunno. Anyway, guys, I hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas from me. Oh, we've got to sing that together. All we want for Christmas is an EMP.
So I can whistle Merry Christmas.
And watch them fall out the sky and things fall over and all that kind of stuff. Don't forget...
Take out the power grid.
Yeah, well, no, not that kind. Just a pocket one in case you get hassled by those. I might go to San Francisco. They might go, oh, there's another homeless person and try to hoover me up with a robot. And I'm kind of not into that gig, so I just want to press a button and it just falls over. Kind of thing, you know. Don't forget, guys, the big story of 2018. I think I've got mine. I've had to have a think about it, though. There's, you know, the Clintons and all that kind of stuff. What's going to happen, which we had in the last chat kind of thing. Right, so I've got a bit of a Twitter story before I move over to Mike. I won't leave him hanging there too long. My Twitter story is, I've never really pushed Twitter, and so I decided to have a look on, I have an EMP called the Beach Ball. Oh, okay, cool. On Twitter, I decided to have a look to see who was following me. I've never done it, you know, and thank you if you do follow me on there. And what did I find? I found the CNN meme police. The CNN meme police were following me to see if I did any memes about CNN. Because remember when they dropped the ball and you had Donald Trump with the CNN head on it? And no, he didn't, and all that. And since then, they've been following me. So I blocked, they're gone, and all that kind of stuff. Amazing, huh? Must be the power of legal marijuana. Oh, okay, got him voted in. Yeah, you never know. Hey, Mike, what's going on over in your wells?
Well, I'll tell you what, we had a great Christmas, and if anybody's doubting the cowboy hat, I got a smoked chicken, 3 boxes of ammunition, and a bag of socks for Christmas. My mother-in-law was the big winner, however. She got a Mossberg shotgun, beautiful little 410. So, yes, my family is a bunch of rednecks. It's not an act.
That's kind of cool. So your mum got a gun for Christmas?
Shotgun, yeah. That's 410 Mossberg.
That's kind of cool. I don't know what a 410 Mossberg is, but it sounds big. I don't know.
Look it up.
Well, yeah, no, I won't do it right now. But just the fact that you get doing guns for Christmas is... Well, it's not very English, darling. That's all I can say. Do you know what I mean?
Well, right. That's, yeah.
I think it's cool. I don't have a problem with it. Right, Twitter story. Facebook. My Facebook story quickly is I got locked out, as you guys know. And then I had to open another one. And I had 4,900 friends on the old one. Started a new one. Got it up to about 25. And they locked me out again. Account number 5. Out. But then they unlocked the old one, so the old one's now running. I mean, what are they doing? I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're doing it and all that kind of stuff. Jack says a 410, that sounds cute. Is a 410 cute then, is it? Is that a little baby one, is it?
Yeah, it's not a big gun. It's not a big caliber at all, but what it is good for, basically, shooting birds, home protection. It's they have a high amount of rural crime here in Alberta right now. It's more than it's ever been due to the absolutely wrecked economy. And so her guy didn't want her to be alone without any kind of protection, so he got her that. And I don't know exactly how she felt about it, but I thought it was the coolest present that a guy could ever give his woman, because, I mean, she's out on a farm by herself. There's roving gangs of guys that go around checking out farms to rob, and sometimes it's violent. So, at least now she can protect herself.
Hey, yeah, it's a cultural thing, isn't it? Okay, we don't do guns in England, but I get that. If I was in a farm in the back of Beyond, it'd probably be nice to have it around. I'd need to have some lessons, so I was safe and I didn't sort of do something stupid like, well, an accident type thing. But I think it's cool. I don't have a problem with it. Most English people will go, pop, 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 because it's just not part of the culture. So, but then again, they don't get out very much. So,
You would be fine with it, Rhea. You would be absolutely fine. All the horror stories you hear about guns are usually because of idiots or gangbangers shooting each other. But gun owners, in my experience, are actually the most law-abiding people that there are. I've had to renew my firearms license here in Canada 3 times, so I've had it for about 6.
Oh.
Renew that license, they run your name through the RCMP database, so if there's any kind of charges or anything at all, it would come up. So, I mean, just the fact that you get that license in the mail every 8 years after you apply for it means that you are an extremely law-abiding individual.
So that means you're an extremely law-abiding individual?
As far as anybody knows.
How dull. Right, let's move on to the next one. So I want to know, what are your top 3 YouTubers or internet land people that you would like to guide other people to who watch this? It doesn't matter, I always think of stuff that I think, well, they already know that, but then I think, look, I'll just say it because in case they don't, sort of thing. And that's when when I did the 1988 Economist cover, which I thought was common news. It wasn't common news. So your top 3 YouTubers, at least one that you'd like to direct people to. You got any stories before I do one, Mike?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I want to guide you to this. Edward Snowden releases new security app for Android called Haven. I'll give it a little play. I'll show you guys what the deal is. Let's have a look. Here we go. Let me bring it up. Check this out. So this is for Android. It's free. And see what you make of this. Okay, I'll talk through there because that's quite dull, isn't it? I only caught the first bit. So basically the story is you download this app. I mean, he's a pretty credible guy for privacy, Snowden, right? So it's got that kudos to it. And you can put it on, and if you've got a spare phone as well, it's got all sensors in it. If anything moves in front of it, and it'll automatically go off. If something tries to attack your phone, it will let you know. If there's something already in it, they'll let you know. As far as I know, it's free. So that's worth checking out. You've got an Android phone, Mike. We're both on the radar because we're sort of always in the doghouse. Is that something that you would find useful?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I remember reading that story here, and Rhea didn't tell me she was going to talk about this today, but I did read the story the other day, and it was interesting. If you go into the comments section, a lot of people have a mistrust of Edward Snowden, like he's some kind of plant that was putting information out for intelligence services. And also, I got to say, with the Snowden revelations, everything that he came out with, you'd had to have been living under a rock for the 5 years before Snowden came out to not know that. I mean, everybody that I knew was aware of all the things that he said. Like, you know, somebody can tap into your camera and spy on you. What? Say it isn't so, Edward Snowden. I mean, we knew that. Didn't you know that before the Snowden revelation? It was almost like they went public with something that everybody already knew to begin with. I'm not saying that Snowden is some kind of a weird agent of something, but don't you agree, Rhea? The Snowden revelations were previously known.
Oh, totally. Well, to us they were. I mean, for the self-learning bunch that go around and they check stuff out, they've got that sort of curiosity to carry on learning and question, excuse me, what they've already been programmed with. I think it's not new news, but for many it was like, oh my goodness.
So that was the mainstreaming of it, in your opinion?
Yeah. I don't think that. I think the mainstream was, oh, that's shocking. They can see us through our cameras.
Yeah, but I mean, the Snowden revelation was kind of the mainstreaming of that knowledge.
Yeah, totally. It was Snowden that broke it. I mean, excuse me, and Assange was in on the act. For anybody that's seen Citizen 4, definitely got to watch that, because that's awesome. That's in real time as it happened. And so for the mainstream, it seems like, it was Snowden that said they can watch you, get undressed in a bedroom if you've got a laptop in there or whatever. And of course they can. We've got one in from Night and Day. Rhea, have you downloaded Snowden's app yourself to see how well it works? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've got a spare phone, and the way this also has a sensor on it. So it not only is like an internet thing to see if you've been invaded by some body or some group, but it's also, you can put it by, say, your front window, and if anybody walks in front of it, it will start recording. So it's like a security system as well. So I've got a spare phone. I'm going to download it on the spare phone and put it to work in the physical world. And then I'm going to go on to GitHub for the coding and speak to some dudes on GitHub, sort of cool geeks, and see what they've got to say about it as well, to see if it's worth it. Do you want to take Colorado's 24s, Mike?
Let's go to a couple of comments here. Night and Day Plumbing Solutions. Rhea, have you downloaded Snowden's app yourself to see how well it works? Rhea.
Yeah, I've just given you my answer. I'm going to do it on a spare phone in the next one.
Sorry, if you gave the answer, you were breaking up, so I was,
okay.
Something happened with our connection, so I was hearing a lot of garble there. So if I repeat anything that you said, that's the reason. K. Geraldo, 24, loves Snowden. He's a hero for most, but for some it was the leaking of classified info that was questionable. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Kelly Jacobson, good morning. Good to see you. Merry Christmas.
Hi, Colorado 24, and hi, Kelly. So this is, to me, I never saw it, that I just thought he was trying to do the right thing by saying, look, Americans, and look, world, look what they can do, and you don't know that they're doing it. Is that from Colorado 24's, that's not how you feel about it. So that's an interesting, I know it's as old as the hills now, but he's just releasing stuff. Everybody's going to be looking at that, aren't they? All the acronyms, FBI, NSA, and all that kind of stuff. So how do you view it, Mike? Do you see that he did a good thing or not a good thing?
Well, I think he did a good thing. I mean, there was guys like William Binney, and I can think of several off the top of my head that were already doing it. He had to go to Russia. And he had to turn his back. If you believe the official story, everything could be bullshit these days. We don't know. But, if you believe the story, he had to leave a woman that could basically touch the back of her knee to the back of her head. She was very, very bendy, like a Gumby, some sort of gymnast or whatever. Very hot, too. Good-looking lady. Yeah. I thought it was important to bring up. But, but if that's the case, then, he suffered personal loss to get the information out to the public. So fine. And, you had guys like Bill O'Reilly and William McChrystal and all these other usual guys screaming about what a criminal he was. And interestingly enough, it was something that establishment Dems and Republicans actually agreed on, that he should be brought back and face espionage charges under the Obama administration. So we haven't heard Trump even say anything about that. Chelsea Manning, that was another. You remember Bradley Manning, now known as Chelsea Manning?
I did.
Chelsea's running. Yeah, she got her sentence commuted by President Obama, and now she's mincing around lecturing everybody on government policy and whatnot. So, I mean, it wasn't just Snowden. There was also Chelsea Manning. I'm sorry, does it weird you out like it does me to say Chelsea when you know it's a Bradley? It's like calling a dog a cat. I'm sorry. I have a hard time with it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll take people as they come, sweetie. Come as you are. I don't mind at all. But Pompeo came out, didn't he? And he said, what did he say? Yep. That they were going to go after Assange and stuff, didn't he? So there was a bit of a... What you got there? A bottle of booze?
No, this is my longevity vitamin, mineral, amino, and fatty acid drink that I take every day. Good stuff.
Is that how you do it, is it? Is that how you stay young?
Yeah, you got to shake it up.
Yeah, right. So basically, I saw what Snowden did as a good thing. There's another guy. He was a Navy guy, wasn't he? His name was Tom something. Thomas. It's on the tip of my tongue. And the reason he didn't go through, Snowden said, the reason he didn't go through the chain of command was because of what happened to Tom. Begins with a B, maybe. And he said the chain of command is all it served as was to create a problem for people blowing the whistle on it. All right, look, we won't dwell there. It's a bit as old as the hills, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so okay, shall I pick up on another one?
Yeah, okay, so this is interesting. MasterCard just came out with some figures for this Christmas shopping season, and they're saying that the most money that they've ever tracked in history was spent in this season. They're saying that there was $800 billion, with a B, dollars worth of purchases surrounding this Christmas season. Now, that's interesting for a number of reasons. Number one, that's just MasterCard. I mean, you got to consider Visa, American Express, Discovery. There's all these other cards. Then you have to take into consideration cash purchases and debit, right? So, I mean, if there was $800 billion spent just through MasterCard, then you can bet that it was even bigger than that as a whole. Now, that I don't know if that's just the United States. The article, and this was reported by Reuters, so it's got to be true. They would never lie, right? So it's interesting because they're attributing it to the new tax cuts and increased consumer confidence. Now, the thing about MasterCard, it's funny because we talk about Bitcoin and how that it's all just zeros and ones on a screen at the end of the day. But MasterCard, these credit card companies, I have less faith in them than cryptocurrencies because they are essentially usury-based cryptocurrencies, right? I mean, they charge you loan sharking rates, and they create money out of thin air. Credit card companies, they don't have an actual... Well, I mean, it's the very definition of fractional reserve banking. Do you agree with that, Ria?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. I mean... We've got to bear in mind, like, cryptocurrencies. I've got a section coming up on cryptocurrencies, so I won't sort of go into that. But yeah, I mean, cryptocurrency, the main difference is fiat currency is an instrument of debt, and it plunges us all in debt and devalues the system, which is part of a Keynesian economics, which is designed to be that way. And cryptocurrency isn't an instrument of debt. You've got to have whatever cryptocurrency to trade with it, where fiat currency you don't have to. Go on, Mike, carry on. Or are you done?
I'm done with that. I just wanted to see what your take was on it.
Okay, so I'm going to go into a cryptocurrency one. For those who know Litecoin, which is the Lightning Network, LTC Litecoin is the one you buy coffee with. I could send $1,000 to Mike and it would cost me 20 cents. And there's no middleman. So Charlie Lee, the guy that invented LTC, Litecoin, is rumoured to have sold all of his Litecoin because he's done a deal with Facebook for Facebook to accept Litecoin as payment. This is massive. If this is the case, and it is an if it's the case, Litecoin is only going one place, and that's up. So on that news, I've kind of moved some stuff around and stuff like that. So Litecoin's quite interesting. Charlie Lee sells Litecoin because of possible Facebook deal. So I find that quite interesting. Mike, would you like to take some comments, please?
Yeah, absolutely. K Geraldo 24 says there are leaders that say he did not do a good thing by breaking chain of command. Yeah, of course they said that, right? Night and Day Plumbing, for someone to reveal such state secrets, I'd have to say they're incredibly brave to risk their freedom. Yeah, I agree with that. If the official story is true of what happened with him, we're lied to so much that I am constantly thinking that everything might be some kind of a head fake. That's the problem. I mean, once bitten, twice shy, So, but yeah, I mean, if he did leave the bendy hot girl to have to go to the frozen wasteland of Russia, just to get the information out to the public out of the goodness of his heart or some sense of justice, then great. You get a kick out of that, don't you, Rhea?
I just find that funny, what is valuable and what isn't, and I guess bendy is valuable, so
it's up there.
I'm just acknowledging.
Roly-poly, however, is not.
Oh, wow. Right, okay, so that's a seal, man. That's a seal. Right, so we're going to move on, right? Here's a funny one. This made me chuckle, I tell you.
All right.
Barack Obama tells Prince Harry irresponsible social media use risks fragmenting our society. Sweetie, it's already fragmented. What planet are you living on? Really? I find that hilarious. That just seems to me just how out of tune he is. What do you think, Mike?
You've got to repeat it, Rhea. You faded out for a second there. Tell me that again. This sounds like something I'll think is funny, too.
Right, let me read it again. Barack Obama tells Prince Harry irresponsible social media use risks fragmenting our society. And I chuckled because society is already fragmented. So I just thought that was a mad thing to say.
Well, and he was one of the biggest fragmenters. I mean, America elected, on a majority of white votes, elected a black president. You never heard about racism so much as during the Barack Obama presidency. You know what that reminds me of, that statement? It's like the Pope. The Pope, he'll come out with these statements once in a while that are just so blatantly obvious to everybody, but it's supposed to be very wise and popey because it's the Pope. And it's actually very useless. There's also a story that Donald John Trump has not been invited to the royal wedding, and it's going to cause problems with the British Prime Minister in any future meetings if the Obamas are invited to the wedding and Trump is not before he meets with the Queen. So what's with your politicians over there dissing on my president? What's going on?
What's going on? I can only give you, I would say, if I had to guess, and it's just my opinion and a guess, I'd say the vast majority of British people don't like Trump. Because obviously a lot of people listen to the BBC, they're the propaganda unit, and they sort of surreptitiously and sneakily BBC style diss Trump. And people, I mean, if you listen to Radio 2 in England, BBC Radio 2, I think like a vast percentage of the nation listen to it on the way to work. So in their heads, they're listening, sucking this stuff up, and they've not been red-pilled. So without being flash, you get a certain type of people called autodidacts, which are basically self-learning. If you're not a self-learning person, if you don't question this stuff, they just suck it up, don't they? And so most Brits don't like Trump, and that's just the way it is. It's and when you listen to them, it's like just lemmings, just go off the edge. You're just taking up space, and you bore me. Just go somewhere else and use up somebody else's time. That's my take on it, really. So I'm not going to apologise for their behaviour. Just because I happen to be born in England, a birthplace is completely arbitrary, isn't it? You guys didn't pick to where you was born, and nor did I. I don't agree with the history of England and many other things. So I would like to say I'm kind of the average Brit, but I'm not the average Brit. There's still definitely Brits out there on the same wavelength as me, but ultimately the average Brit is like, they have no idea about the USC, United States of Europe, was drawn up at the end of World War II as part of Hitler's plan because he knew that he was losing the war. No idea. Not a clue. Not a clue. And stuff like that. And it's like, the argument is so big, it's like, why bother? Just walk off the cliff, you'll be dead soon, and then let the youngsters come up because they know more about what's going on. Back to you, Mike.
I agree. And, I mean, hey, I live in a country where they elected Justin Trudeau as prime minister. Okay, so I get it. That's almost worse, but yeah, no, I mean, you're definitely. Well, here's the thing: I don't like idiots. We wouldn't be friends if you were a moron, right? So
I'd say the same about you.
You're a shining example of a upstanding good Brit. I salute you, Rhea.
Well, go on. Yeah, and, one gravitates towards things that you like, and I just learn stuff all the time. And if I told you the stuff that I learn, you just think I'm nuts, so there's no point. So before we move on to the next one, should we take some comments? I can see a funny one that made me chuckle when I saw it.
Talking about Lisa?
Yeah.
Snakes are bendy too. Yes, they are. And there's nothing sexier than a lady snake. So, yeah. Rhea, are you bendy at all? Do you do yoga or anything?
I was a gymnast, if that helps.
You were a gymnast. So what did you do? Like the pommel horse, the rings, the...
Floor.
What? Hey?
Floor.
Oh, so you ran across the floor and did backflips and handsprings?
Yeah, and all that.
Were you good at it?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
So did you ever go into competition and things like that? Like how high did you go with it?
No, I ditched that kind of side. I went into music school, so there was loads of cool boys that played guitar, were moody and dark, and I found them fascinatingly attractive, and it was a great way to go to uni and just hang out with cool dudes, that wore leather jackets and went up to the establishment and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't help it. It was like a magnet for me. So, no, I never pursued. How long can you pursue gymnasts for? I mean,
I did very well with that whole thing that you just described with the rock and roll bad boy thing, but I grew out of it.
Yeah, right. Totally. Okay, so I've got a weird one coming up. Any more? Let's just take a couple of others. Snakes are bendy too. That's great, Lisa. I love that. Do we see dudes queuing up for them? I don't think so. Right, okay, so the media is relentless. Colorado. Is it Colorado? Coraldo. Sorry.
K. Geraldo. K. Geraldo.
K. Geraldo. The media is relentless in the attack of Trump. Oh, man, it's just boring, isn't it? I said at the beginning of the show, you might have missed that, girls, that I was being followed by the CNN meme police on Twitter. I blocked them.
I remember that.
And I wanted to say to them, if they're watching, because they're obviously keeping an eye on things, the dudes, you CNN meme police, the CNN and that group of people there, I don't mind you broadcasting, okay? I don't mind that. It's the title that's wrong. People think it's a news outlet. If you change the title of your news outlet to something like delivering left-wing propaganda on behalf of corporate and government entities to prey on the weak of mind, I go, no, that's fine. You do have some integrity and you will tell the truth at some point. But you're not going to title it that, are you? So meanwhile, you can just get lost, and that's about my take on it, really. Lisa, we appreciate you guys having our backs. Yeah, right. Always. Doghouse, right. You ready?
Did you read Night and Days there?
No, can you get it, please?
For those of us in the UK that don't swallow all the BBC hype, I, for one, think Trump is a breath of fresh air, as is Nigel Farage.
Oh, yeah.
Great to hear public figures speaking the truth. I'm a big fan of Nigel Farage. Big fan. I love watching him at the EU Parliament, just trashing him and taking him apart.
Oh,
that's a Brit right there.
Oh, mate, totally. It's great. He's on camera. He's got a pint of beer. He's smoking a smoke, just telling it, just keeping it real. You can feel the real. And that just goes, we just need that, don't we? We need to feel that real. And we just have politicians just, I don't have the words. Right, okay, so I've got a weird story here if you want to move on to another one. You want to move on to another one, Mike?
Let's do it. I want to hear your weird story.
Right, so I need to do a bit of a warning. If there's kids around or you've got kids in the room, whether you're live or recorded, just get their fingers in ears because this is some weirdness, okay? I come across this, fingers in ears, I come across this and just thought, what is going on with that? So I thought I'd bring it to you guys. You know I duck the big stories because we all know the big stories unless you want to bring it up and put it in the chat. So here's the thing, right? So I've done the warning. Exquisite human leather products, wallets, belts, shoes being sold online. Published December 24th. Source IntelliHub. Extremely discerning clients can now purchase their own one-of-a-kind human leather products, such as wallets, belts, shoes online, but the prices start at $14,000. According to the company which handcrafts the item out of the finest leather known. What's a fine? Weird. That's right. You can order your very own wallet or belt made from previously living human being, despite the fact that it's illegal, such as fur. And the company website is called humanleather.co.uk. I'm looking at you nodding. You've heard of that before, Mike?
Yeah, I read this too, and you could if you were going to use me, you wouldn't want a wallet. It'd be more like a ball glove or a football. But here's the thing: it's kind of a loaded. I mean, once a person's dead, they're gone, right? So I mean, that mass body is just an empty shell. I mean, the biochemistry is the same, just the invisible life force is gone. One could make that argument that it would be no different than throwing out a bucket of chemicals. But at the same time, it's a kind of a slippery slope because it turns human skin into a commodity. And if you're going to allow that to happen to dead ones, then how long is it before they're harvested and farmed for it, right? I mean, that is possible, don't you think, Rhea? If there's a dollar value, I mean, $14,000 a wallet.
Totally. I mean, we're already kind of farmed anyway, aren't they? Where they just squeeze the juice out of us as much as they can. So, yeah, it is a concern. It's definitely a concern. I just thought, like, how weird's that? I clicked the button and looked at, yes, there's a website. So how long that'll be there and stuff like that. But
what a great way to remember Grandpa. Instead of having an urn on the mantle, you get, like, hey, check it out.
Just doing your...
It's my granddad.
That's nuts. That's crazy nuts stuff out of human leather. Just like, I just come across it. It was a really weird thing. Right, guys, I forgot to play the accent, okay? I'm going to play the accent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, just not very good at this. Can't get a staff. Right, I'm going to play the accent. Get your ears ready. See what you think. Where's this dude from?
And even though I may be a little late on this accent tag thing, I'm going to give it a shot, even though I might be a little 2000 and late. Anyway, the words are aunt, roof, route, wash, oil, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, sure, data, ruin, crayon, New Orleans,
Where do you think he's from? Okay, just drop it in the comments. See where you go from there. I found that one quite interesting. Mike, you got any stories? Go on.
Whoa! That's not the same one that you played before.
No. You want it again?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm absolutely.
Okay, because it sounds very similar to one that you had used already.
Nope. No, it's a brand new one.
Is he from Alberta?
Nope.
Okay, then it's not the same one. Go on.
And it's not from the land down under either, actually. Right, so story about cryptos. I've had some Hugh isn't with us today, is he? People saying about Coinbase, right? So I think the big story next year, or I don't think it will make headlines, but underlying everything will be the fact that blockchain technology is coming to the fore, and we need to learn to think in a non-decentralized way. So with this crypto thing, because it's set to go bananas next year, all everybody is sort of saying it doesn't mean it's going to, but I think it's going to. It's going to go nanas, you know. At the minute, it's only 1%. If that touches 3%, it will just accelerate like mad. So I wanted to point something out to somebody who wrote to me about, I think Coinbase might be a scam and stuff like that. I don't think it is a scam. It's what it is. It's an unregulated area that they're trying to regulate by the day. And if there's sudden movement in the market, they'll prevent you from swing trading. So whilst that is a bit scammy, the whole thing isn't a scam. But that move to reduce the movement in money to stop people making money, that's a scam, right? But I just wanted to point out the difference between blockchain technology, which is going to be huge, is coming into your life, like it or not, and this current system we're in. Everything we do, we've got Los Angeles, everything we do they want to get in the middle. So when I talk to you guys, I've got to either go through YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and you have the middleman in. They jump in the middle and they try and extract as much value as they can by our transaction. This is a verbal transaction or a written one or a financial one. And as soon as they get in between, they start to take, okay, in everything that we do. Everything, and the whole ecosystem is based on the middleman, and the governing bodies and so on are that middleman, right? That is the current ecosystem that we've been living with. Well, if I was holding a box, in this box is blockchain, and blockchain technology is a trustless transaction, peer-to-peer, so they can't get in between. So that's a key player for this, that there's no central body that you call because you got it wrong. If you got it wrong, you've lost. So, but with this peer-to-peer group, the government can't get in the middle to take from you, and it doesn't create debt by nature. For example, if you wanted to give to a charity, you put $1 in, how much of that $1 actually gets to the wherever you think it's going to go? You don't ever know that. But if it goes onto blockchain, that's a public ledger, and you'll be able to track where your dollar goes, for example. So charities may not like that, or they might like it. Housing registers, but the point is, it stops the middleman getting in between us talking to each other, and that is big, and it's not an instrument of debt, which fiat currency is. So that's a bit about cryptos, Mike. I don't know if you want to voice that or not, whether you want to chuck something in there, or I'll move on.
No, very interesting. I'm learning, so I was just listening to you. So interesting.
Okay, so they've lifted the lid off of Pandora's box with blockchain and public ledgers and so on. And this little box at the moment, which is 1% of the whole ecosystem, is eating it. And it's eating piggy banks. And it's just eating this stuff up. Gold sales are down by 15%. And they're blaming Bitcoin. They don't like that because they can control the gold market. It's fully manipulated, fully controlled. There is no price discovery, which frustrates an awful lot of people. And this little Pandora's box with the lid that's been open is now eating it and eating it and eating it. And the forecast for Bitcoin price is going to be colossal, among others. So the main thing is it doesn't occur debt, and we can transact peer-to-peer instantly without Mr. Government and the man getting in between. And that is major, because all the things that we're discontent with, immigration, free handouts and all that kind of stuff, You follow the trail, it always goes back to money. So that's our money. And this is important, and the wars are funded by our money, etc. But with this little Pandora's box, they're not going to be able to do that because they can't get in between to take the value from it. How does Zuckerberg get so rich? By selling yours and mine information that we know nothing about from these things they call cookies, which are actually trackers, and they track everything you do. They sell it on, he becomes a squillionaire. Not going to be able to do that. So bear in mind, although it doesn't mean anything direct to your community with immigration or whatever issues you have, you follow the breadcrumbs and it will go back to money, our money that they spend, not how we want them to spend it. And this little Pandora's box right here, they can't do that. So it affects all of the things that we are discontent with. Just bear that in mind. I've started a Facebook page called TDH, the Doghouse Crypto Chat, if you want to come and talk some more offline or whatever, to try and understand. And it is for beginners to understand decentralized blockchain. That's what it's. And if you are advanced, jump on, because you can give advice as well from a different point of view. All are welcome. Come as you are, and we'll help you understand about this thing that is coming and how you can benefit from it. Sorry about that, Mike. Bit of monologue, but back to you.
No, that's interesting. And what you said about them using money to gain power over people. As far back as I could remember, when I was a kid and I heard about there being a national debt, I remember asking my dad about that, and it just I couldn't get it how that, because I was born on a certain patch of dirt, I somehow owed somebody something for, some war that happened before I was born. I owe for that. I don't get it. And which led to me taking the course of action that I did, that I was talking about a couple shows ago. But you see these figures and estimates on the world's debt. Who is the world in debt to? Jupiter? This whole concept of debt. And it's interesting, too, because actually in the Torah, under the Levitical law, debt was abolished. You could not make money by way of usury. That was against the law. Every 7 years, they had what was called a year of Jubilee, where all debt was erased in order to stop people from controlling humanity through debt. So, that ancient law system virtually, annihilated that way of doing things, but we are not taught that way. We're taught to be a good taxpayer, debt slave, get RRSPs in Canada that, to save your money, which is taxed when you withdraw them. Okay. There's no point. But, this system that we're under now, this debt-based system, is an aberration. It does not have to be this way. And I wish more people would wake up to it. So, if that's what's going to happen with the cryptocurrency phenomena, you say Pandora's box has been opened, that's actually a natural, humanity heading towards freedom, right? Is there going to be, let me ask you this, is there going to be some kind of pain with this, like a Band-Aid being ripped off once the transition is made? Is there going to be a lot of people left behind in all this, do you think, Ria?
There's going to be some fallout in the sense that this is not user-friendly yet, right? And I mean this in the nicest way. If your internet experience, if you're an emailer, we need to get some of these comments because they're whizzing by. Hi, DX Calvin. I've got you written down. Don't worry, I've not lost it. If you're an average user, which is emails and a bit of browsing, blockchain isn't ready for you, or you're not ready for blockchain yet. So you either do the self-learning thing, as in take some pain and learn how to do it, which is what I set up the TDH chat thing for on Facebook, which I can put a link in if you want to get into it, to help the novice understand what this is. We've got kids that are like 15 to 21 that have got this down. Like I said on Kevin's show, this is a movement. These people know that are into cryptos. We're calling it cryptos, but it's actually blockchain, which is multi-use. But the thing is with the blockchains, it's peer-to-peer. They can't get in the middle. And you've got to ask yourselves, how many bad things have been funded by bad people, banksters, and wars and whatever else, because they can get in between our transactions, be it verbal messages or whatever, and they can't do that with crypto. So there's gonna be a fight. So you might enter the market with a bit of guidance 1 minute, and then it's changed a week down the line. So they may well, I can't imagine them just letting this thing run wild, as much as they can't stop it unless they switch the internet off. There's going to be some pain in the sense that it's moving so quickly that 1 minute it's not legislated, then the next minute it is, and stuff like that. So that's your downfall. Is for the average user, you're going to find it difficult. But I'm sure you know a cool geek somewhere that will help you out and get you in there if you want some skin in the game. You do what you want with your own money, but I can say I haven't looked back, I've got to say. I hope that answers your question, Mike, and could you get some of the comments, please?
Yeah, let's do it. K. Geraldo says, what's the android's name on Star Trek? Say it with me. Data. Data. Brent Spiner was the guy that played that guy, and actually I heard an interview with him. He said that there was a lot of Trekkies out there that hated that character, the Next Generation, and he would go to the grocery store and people would start throwing fruit at him and stuff because they didn't like the robot on Star Trek.
Wow.
Suspended disbelief, anyone? Wow. Justin Trudeau, cringe. Night and Day. I heard some banks are considering holding Bitcoin as an asset. Well, yeah, why wouldn't they? I mean, they can buy it, right? Just like we can. Why wouldn't they? Justin Trudeau, cringe channel. I love the idea of keeping the government and those damn dirty Rothschilds out of my bank account.
Beautifully said.
Yeah. Agreed.
Lovely.
DX Calvin, Cleveland.
Got it.
Somewhere Midwestern.
So we've got LA and
talking about
Cleveland
the accent.
so far. Sorry, Mike. Carry on.
I when I was listening to that, what I noticed about that accent, he was listing words. He said roof and wash. He did not say roof or wash, which leads me to believe that he could be anywhere in the heartland, in the northern Midwest of America, or possibly western central Canada. Let's go on here. 9-Day Plumbing, I think where the banks are concerned in Bitcoin, it's a case of if you can't beat them, join them. Oh yeah, they'll evolve. They'll try to evolve for sure, because they're business, right? They have to. Surfer 4, learn about wallets first. If you lose your key, then you're screwed, right? That's why I have a wallet made of my grandpa.
Yeah,
Just
right.
kidding.
I get that, and that's kind of maybe one day be cool and chic. I don't know. Or there'd have to be a lot of grandpa to get a leather jacket, though, right?
Right.
Right, Surfer 4, you lose your keys. That's right. I mean, you've got to own your own keys. You've got to have your own keys, but that's further down the line, though, isn't it, Surfer 4? I'm on about people that are negotiating Coinbase and having trouble because it's not like a bank account. Then what do you do with it? You've got to get it out of the exchange because it's a massive honeypot and a target, and get it into your own wallet. So people need to learn about wallets. So whilst you're spot on, it's kind of step 3 or something, or 4 for a beginner. It's the concept of decentralization which needs to be taken on board, and how peer-to-peer transactions without these robbing sods taking money and data and whatever value they can from it in between could have just a huge effect on all the things that bring discontentment to our lives. Just tuned in. Great show, guys. Hi, Eric. Thank you for joining us. So there you go. So far, Pandora's box is 1%. It's chewed up about 0.3% of the global economy in the last few months, and it's just eating away. Gold sales are down. It'll knock on other effects. Now the Wall Street guys are going to go in and play with it and stuff like that. But for them to play with it, they're either going to do it on the futures market, and the futures market probably won't survive because of the amount of movement in it. As you've seen, what we've got, the live Bitcoin price down in the bottom left-hand corner, $14,912 US. And what was it? It was 20,000. Well, if you put a short or a long on with margin, with leverage, you're bankrupt. Mate, nobody's piggy bank is big enough to take that kind of thing. And so the leverage would have to be tiny. So it's not a great futures. So basically it's buy and hold is the advice. I've watched this thing moved around quite a lot, and it's all just gone buy and hold, and you won't sort of go far wrong. Certainly I'm happy with it. Any more questions, Mike, from your point of view that may be similar to what other people want to ask?
No, I'm going to reserve anything. I'm just going to watch, and I'm fascinated when you talk about it because you're very knowledgeable, and I appreciate that. Another thing that I'd like to point out that was kind of a big story this year to me was the prevalence of this whole flat Earth thing. I had like, it just seemed like this 2017, this flat Earth thing got really big. I had somebody phone my show on JCN from the UK wanting to talk about the flat Earth theory. And not only that, but somebody that I actually know that is very intelligent and that I respect is just fully on board with this flat Earth theory thing. And it's weird to me because it seems stupid, right? And it seems like you've got an intelligent people trying to articulate a stupid idea, but it does seem to be getting bigger. Have you noticed that, Ria? Or have you noticed that this year you're hearing more about the flat Earth theory than ever before?
Totally. We spoke about it before. I mean, I thought I fell off it the other day, but it turned out it was just really strong whiskey, you know. So that's as close as I can get to it. I know what you mean. You got some sort of bright people and stuff like that going on. I mean, I did have a look at it, Mike, because why not? I want to keep an open mind. I just don't want to have a closed mind because it doesn't fit with my current map of the world. I always want an open mind. But as far as I know, for logarithmically, the Earth drops 8 inches every 1 mile. So you can put a theodolite or whatever across a lake and you can see the drop. So, you know, if someone wants to get into it, I would paraphrase, and I don't think you guys are big fans of Stefan Molyneux. I think it's quite cool once, okay, dude can be a bit sort of conceited, but hey, I can get past that. Is that what he said to this guy was, look, my advice to you is just don't invest too much time in it. Don't go using up all your time trying to convince people that it's flat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you want to get into it, that's up to you, you know. It's your call, it's your time. But his advice was don't spend too much time on it unless you've got a video of someone falling off the edge or something, right? So unless you can bring that...
There's that.
Right, unless you can bring that... Oh, right, stupid. Oh, right, we've got a load of them come in. Sure, smiley face, cool, okay. Oh, Fred Globber. Okay, so that's it. Unless you can cough up a video or we can see the edge. And if you're trying to argue it in physics, good luck with that. So that was my take on it, really. Right, Mike, I'm just going to... If you grab some accents and grab some comments, and I'll play the accent again.
Well, I think you read them all, so let's get back to the accent. Oh, by the way, Hugh Jass is with us. He's been texting me this whole time. And just to give him his piece here, because he has been sending stuff in, I just didn't notice it. Says, in my mind, it made Coinbase look bad when they suspended trading when the price dropped. And he said it's at $18,880.42 Canadian right now. Thanks for that, Hugh. Night and Day Plumbing just said, Mike, on last week's show, you said the U.S. will do very nicely next year from the tax changes. Having checked it out, I have to agree. There will most likely be billions coming back to the country. Yeah, well, it's already happening. It's already happening. I mean, their tax system was so business unfriendly and unconstitutional in the first place that, yeah, when you lower taxes, not only does more investment come back into the country, but here's the rub, okay? When you lower taxes, the government actually collects more taxes because people don't avoid it, because they can afford it, and there's more money going around. So the whole thing with putting crippling, punishing taxes on individuals and business kills individuals and business. So it's just it's a control technique is all it is. The power to tax is the power to destroy. And I can't remember who quoted that, but it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. We've got about 2-3 minutes here left. Let's get this accent thing nailed up and in the bag there, Rhea.
Okay, blimey, that flew by, didn't it? And we've only just got them
It
in.
did.
Lisa, Louisiana. We've got a Louisiana look. Louisiana. Okay. Let me play it again. Let's have another listen, guys, and here we go.
And even though I may be a little late on this accent tag thing, I'm going to give it a shot, even though I might be a little 2000 and late. Anyway, the words are aunt, roof, route, wash, oil, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, sure, data, ruin, crayon, New Orleans.
Okay, there you go, guys. What do you think? So far, we have Cleveland, LA, Louisiana, I think. That's what we've got going on for that. Okay, right, I've got to whiz through some stories. Can you stay any later, Mike, or do you need to be on your way?
No, I can spend a few minutes.
Okay, right, a bit of news from the UK. Oh, we just got Canadian. Okay. If we could zoom it in any more, that would be cool.
I agree with Surfer 4. That sounds like a lot. Like, I mean, that guy talking, that could have been my neighbor, to be quite honest. So yeah, Western Central Canadian.
Okay, that's fair enough. We got New Orleans, southern. Sounds southern. Wow, New Orleans. Okay, so on to a bit of English news. This is not new news, but it's just surfaced. Civil servants are deliberately destroying documents from the UK's National Archive in yet another galling example of a historic revisionism put into practice. The Guardian reported Tuesday that thousands of documents from the National Archive have gone missing in recent years, and some may have been deliberately destroyed by civil servants hoping to purge unflattering details from the UK's abuse of power from historical records. So how Orwellian is that, Mike?
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, that was Winston's job in 1984, right? So,
Yep.
Well, I mean, getting rid of words, but same thing. Yeah. I mean, who is? You have to follow they're under authority, so they're following orders. Somebody somewhere knows what to destroy and where it is, unless they're just deployed into the archives to go and look for certain keywords or whatever and destroy them. But, yeah, I can see it. DX Calvin says Manitoba.
Got it.
Surfer Force says not surprising. No, it's not surprising.
It's not surprising.
Not at all. No.
They're trying to rewrite history, right? They just are, and they kind of, God, this is horrible, but did they read 1984 and go, excellent, we'll use that as a handbook for the future? Because it's sure looking like it, isn't it, Mike?
It is, yeah, but I mean, think about how screwed up our perception of history is too.
Yeah.
Like, how many people think that they knew what happened between the Trojan War because they saw that movie with Brad Pitt? You know what I mean? How many people think that they know about the wars between England and Scotland because they saw Braveheart? I mean, that's actually, Hollywood is a way more effective Orwellian Wayback Machine truth gobbler than anything. Well, at least it's entertaining, though.
Well, it's just, again, unsurprising because of the abusive nature of the way the West tried to, rain peace down on people. It's that kind of thing, right? Okay, so before we go to the doghouse, I'm going to reveal the accent. If you've got any more, put it in there. Oh, we've got night and day. That's outrageous. The National Archives belong to all of us, don't they? Secret or otherwise. They absolutely do. But the thing is, that's our misinterpretation, aren't we? We're kind of being farmed and people need to wake up to that. We have very little in the way of rights unless they say we can have the rights. And that's the thing with the blockchain thing. Again, they get in the middle, don't they? That money and data or whatever is siphoned off, and they use it for their own agenda. And that is what is so attractive about blockchain, is they can't get in between. So if you're in the business of not wanting them to get in between, deal with Monero. Monero is full privacy. And if you want something that's accessible to all with privacy, that is Dash. So your two main players are Dash and Litecoin. And if you want 100% privacy, it's Monero. Right, so just bear that in mind, guys. It's a big thing, that is. They can't get in between. And that's where they want to be, between you and me, just stirring it up and taking whatever they can take and squeezing us dry until there's no juice left. Stick that where the sun don't shine. Right, have we got any others on? What have we got? A great program, you two. Thank you, Gary. Always. Don't forget to do.
Thanks for joining us, Gary.
Yeah, don't forget to do a thumbs up, share it, get the word out. See if we can get more lovely people in the doghouse. Because the way we see things, we're probably going to stay in the doghouse for a while. That's outrageous, right? So we've done that, right? So the accent, right? One more time, and then I'm going to tell you where it is. Here it comes.
And even though I may be a little late on this accent tag thing, I'm going to give it a shot, even though I might be a little 2000 and late. Anyway, the words are aunt, roof, route, wash, oil, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, sure, data, ruin, crayon, New Orleans.
There you go, guys. That's it. Right, I'll give you one more go. So we'll do the doghouse and I'll tell you where the accent is. My one for the doghouse is the CNN meme police that were following me, and I didn't know because I didn't look at the followers. And until they change what CNN does to delivering left-wing propaganda for corporate and government outlets, preying on people that are weak of mind, you're in the doghouse. But I don't see you writing that. So you guys, you're in the doghouse. What about you, Mike? Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Got it. I had my mute on. The National Archives of Britain. I nominate for the doghouse.
What? So we can all read them and see what's actually going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right? Yeah. But no, for destroying history.
Okay. Oh yeah, totally. And they're all at it, aren't they? Right. Yeah. So the accent was born and bred. He was from Kansas. Would you believe? Born and bred.
I believe that.
Second generation Kansas. He was from. So that's the accent, guys. Right, Mike. Do you want to do your finals and I'll close out?
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody, and looking forward to seeing you on Friday. We'll have to do a year in review show on Friday because the next time we get together, it will be 2018. So join me tomorrow at kjjradio.com. Check out the Tactical Health Podcast. And if you're looking for some good Christmas music, we did a Christmas tribute on Saturday on American Act Radio. Although you're probably not because it's over and you're glad. So take care, everybody, and we will see you on Friday here in the doghouse.
We absolutely will. And so I'm going to do shout-outs. So I want to do a shout-out. Though it's not end of year, it's a big one. And I want to do a shout-out so our thoughts haven't forgotten Julian Assange. He's still in there, which is just phenomenal, the way they've put him into check. So, is it checkmate? God, nearly, but not quite. Thank you, Gary, and thank you for all of you for coming. Must watch. Some lovely guy on Twitter sent me a video about the OIC. So you got to check out the OIC, and the person that posted
that was Hugh.
Yeah, Hugh, would you please post it in the comments afterwards? Put that link in for that one. We're going to discuss the OIC the other day. Another shout out is for Pat Condell. He did a Christmas message, right? I was going to play it on here. You've got to listen to this guy, because I don't know if you guys have checked this guy out. This is one straight talking dude, to the point where if I played it on here, they wouldn't let this video go out. So Pat Condell, Condell, check him out. Happy New Year. We're nearly there. We've still got one to go. Our website shout out is Edward Snowden for that security app called havenapp.org. Right, guys, don't forget to like, share, do a thumbs up, tell your friends and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's welcome. Come as you are. It's all cool. I'll play you out with some music. Love and peace from me, Rhea Bow. And maybe at some point I will get my pocket EMP. You never know. Hey, guys from the UK. Love and peace always. Bye-bye.
Stuff.